Before you scroll, listen to this carefully. If you clicked on this video, it is not by accident. There is a reason your heart feels different lately. Not broken, not angry, just quiet. You may think you are losing interest. You may think you are becoming cold. You may think something is wrong with you. But what if this feeling is not weakness at all? What if Allah is gently closing a chapter without hurting your heart? Most people miss this sign. They panic. They force what Allah is trying to release, and they suffer longer than they need to. Stay with me until the end. Because when you understand why Allah changes the heart first, you will stop blaming yourself, stop fighting the ending, and finally feel peace about what is leaving and confidence about what is coming next. This message is for one specific person watching quietly. And if that person is you, your heart already knows. Allah softens the heart before He removes the chapter. When Allah wants to remove something from your life, He does not do it suddenly, because sudden loss shocks the heart. And Allah does not want to shock the heart of a believer. Allah knows how fragile the heart can be. He knows how deeply you attached yourself. He knows how many nights you cried silently. He knows how many prayers you whispered when no one was watching. He knows how many times you said, Ya Allah, please make this work. So Allah does not pull it away in one harsh moment. He prepares you first. And the way Allah prepares you is not through loud signs, not through sudden disasters, not through anger or fear. He prepares you by softening your heart. At first, you don't even realize it is happening. Life looks the same. People are the same. The situation is still there. But something inside you begins to change. Your heart does not respond the same way anymore. You notice that you are not as desperate as before. You are not as anxious as before. You are not as emotionally shaken as before. Before, one small thing could ruin your entire day. One message, one word, one silence. But now, your heart feels slower, calmer, quieter, and this can feel confusing. You start asking yourself questions. What is happening to me? Why don't I feel the same anymore? Why does this no longer hurt like it used to? Why am I not reacting the way I once did? You may even feel guilty. You may say, am I becoming ungrateful? Am I becoming heartless? Am I losing my emotions? No, you are not losing your heart. Allah is protecting it. You see, when Allah wants something to stay in your life, He strengthens your heart for it. Even if it is difficult, He gives you patience. Even if it is painful, He gives you endurance. Even if it is heavy, He gives you strength. But when something is no longer meant to stay, Allah does not punish you by taking it away violently. Instead, He gently removes its weight from your heart. The love becomes softer. The attachment becomes lighter. The urgency slowly fades. You still remember the memories. You still respect what once existed. You still acknowledge the past. But it no longer controls you. Before, your mind was constantly occupied. Your thoughts kept returning to the same place. Your emotions felt trapped. Now, your heart breathes a little easier. This is not because you stopped caring. This is because Allah knows that if He removed that chapter while your heart was still holding tightly, it would break you in ways you may never recover from. Allah does not want you shattered. Allah does not want you destroyed. Allah does not want you drowning in grief. So He reduces the attachment first, slowly, gently, quietly. He lets the heart detach before the life changes. This is mercy. Because heartbreak is heavier when the heart is not prepared. So Allah prepares you. You may notice that you stop forcing conversations. You stop explaining yourself again and again. You stop chasing clarity. You stop begging for effort. Not because you became lazy, not because you stopped loving, but because your heart feels tired in a peaceful way. There is a difference between exhaustion and peace. Exhaustion drains you. Peace settles you. And what Allah gives you here is peace, a quiet peace. You are no longer fighting inside yourself. You are no longer arguing with your own heart. You are no longer trying to convince yourself to stay. You simply accept. And acceptance does not mean you agree with everything that happened. It means you trust Allah more than your emotions. You may still feel sadness sometimes. You may still feel memories rise unexpectedly. You may still feel a small ache. but it no longer defines you. It no longer owns you. And that is Allah's care. Allah knows that endings are hard, so He makes them gentle. He knows that letting go is painful, so He removes the sharpness first. This is why sometimes people say, I don't hate it, I'm just done. That feeling does not come from the ego. It comes from Allah easing your heart out of something that has already served its purpose. Allah never keeps a chapter open after it has taught you what you needed to learn. But He also never closes it until your heart is strong enough to survive the closing. So if you feel calmer about something that once ruled your emotions, do not rush to judge yourself. Do not shame yourself. Do not say, I should feel more. I should try harder. I should force my heart. Your heart is not weak. Your heart is being guided. Allah knows when the time has come. And Allah always prepares the heart before He changes the path. This quiet inside you is not emptiness. It is Allah saying, my servant, I am taking care of you. Even before you realize you need it. As this softness grows inside you, you may begin to notice something else. Your fear starts to leave. Before, you were afraid of losing, afraid of change, afraid of endings, afraid of what would happen if things did not work out. The thought of letting go used to scare you. Your heart would race. Your chest would feel tight. Your mind would fill with what ifs. But now, that fear feels smaller, not gone completely. And this is important. Allah never asks you to release something while you are still terrified of losing it. He removes the fear first, because fear makes the heart cling tighter. Fear makes the mind panic. Fear makes you hold on to what hurts you. So Allah gently replaces fear with calm acceptance. You begin to feel that even if this ends, you will be okay. Even if this chapter closes, your life will continue. Even if this person leaves, Allah remains. And that thought brings relief. This is not indifference, this is trust. You start trusting that Allah knows what you cannot see yet. You start trusting that whatever leaves is not taking your worth with it. You start trusting that your peace is more valuable than your attachment. This is a sign of growth. Another thing you may notice is that silence no longer bothers you the way it used to. Before, silence felt heavy. It felt uncomfortable. It felt like something was wrong. You needed answers. You needed reassurance. You needed words. But now, silence feels normal. You stop chasing explanations. You stop demanding closure from people. You stop replaying conversations in your head, because Allah is giving you closure inside your heart. Not all closure comes from words. Not all clarity comes from conversations. Sometimes Allah closes the door by calming the heart. You begin to understand that not everything needs to be explained for you to move forward. You may also notice that you are no longer trying to prove yourself. Before, you wanted to be understood. You wanted your intentions to be seen. You wanted your effort to be acknowledged. Now, you are at peace even if it is not. You know what you gave? Allah knows what you gave. And that is enough. This is a very quiet but powerful sign that Allah is removing you from a chapter that no longer needs you. When something is meant to continue, Allah gives you energy for it. But when something is meant to end, Allah removes the energy without hurting your dignity. You stop over-giving. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-sacrificing. Your heart begins to protect itself without bitterness. And this is beautiful, because bitterness hardens the heart. But Allah wants your heart soft. So He teaches you how to detach without becoming angry. You may still care. You may still make dua. You may still wish well, but you no longer bleed. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. You also begin to notice that your dua changes. Before, your dua was about keeping. Now, your dua is about peace. You say, Ya Allah, whatever is best for me, Ya Allah, remove what is harming my heart. Ya Allah, give me contentment. And this shift is a sign that your soul has accepted Allah's plan. You are no longer negotiating with Allah. You are trusting Him. And when trust enters the heart, panic leaves. Another sign appears slowly. You begin to imagine a future without that chapter. Before, the thought felt impossible. Now it feels okay. You don't know exactly how it will look. You don't know what will replace it, but you no longer feel stuck. This is Allah opening your heart to what is coming next. Allah never prepares you for something He does not plan to give you. If He is removing something, He is making space. And space is necessary for growth. When your heart becomes softer, it becomes ready to receive, ready to heal, ready to move. So if you feel this quiet inside you, this calm acceptance, this gentle detachment, do not rush the ending. Let Allah complete His work in your heart. Because when Allah finally removes that chapter from your life, you will look back and realize He did not take it away. He slowly lifted it off your heart until you were strong enough to stand without it. And that is mercy upon mercy. When dua changes shape, the direction has changed. There comes a moment in life when your dua changes. Not because you stopped believing, not because you became tired of asking, not because your faith became weak, but because your heart began to understand something your tongue could not explain before. There was a time when your dua was very specific, very focused, very detailed. You knew exactly what you wanted. You asked Allah for it again and again. You begged with tears. You whispered it in sujood. You repeated it at night when no one could hear you. You said, Ya Allah, make this work. Ya Allah, don't let this end. Ya Allah, fix this. Ya Allah, keep this in my life. And you meant every word. Your heart was fully attached to that outcome. You could not imagine another version of your life. You could not imagine another direction. That dua was not wrong. Allah heard it. Allah recorded it. Allah rewarded every tear and every whisper. But slowly, something began to change. One day you stood to make dua and the words did not come out the same way. You paused. Your heart hesitated. And instead of asking for the same thing again, you found yourself saying something different. You said, Ya Allah, whatever is best for me, Ya Allah, give me peace. Ya Allah, remove what is harming me. Ya Allah, guide me to what you love. And after you said it, you felt a strange calm. This moment is very important because this is not weakness, this is surrender. When Allah begins closing a chapter, He gently rewrites your dua, not by force, not by fear, but by understanding. Your heart slowly realizes that holding on to a specific outcome is no longer bringing peace. You begin to feel that insisting is more painful than trusting. And this realization does not come from logic. It comes from Allah placing contentment inside your heart. You stop arguing with Allah's decree. You stop negotiating with fate. You stop saying, why not this? Instead, you say, Ya Allah, you know better than me. This is a very high level of faith. Because trusting Allah when things go your way is easy. But trusting Allah when things are unclear requires maturity of the soul. Your dua becomes softer. Not desperate, not anxious, not rushed. You are no longer trying to control the future. You are placing it in Allah's hands. And when this happens, your heart feels lighter. You may still want something. You may still care deeply. You may still feel hope. But you are no longer crushed by the fear of losing it. This is Allah teaching your heart that your peace does not come from outcomes. It comes from Him. Sometimes people think that changing dua means giving up. No. It means you have moved from attachment to trust. Attachment says, this must happen or I will break. Trust says, whatever Allah chooses, I will survive. And Allah loves when His servant reaches this point. Because now your heart is safe. Safe from disappointment destroying you. Safe from expectations exhausting you. Safe from holding on to what may not be written. Allah never rejects a dua. But sometimes He answers it by changing the heart that made it. So instead of giving you exactly what you asked for, He gives you clarity. He gives you peace. He gives you acceptance. And these gifts are sometimes greater than the thing you were asking for. You may notice that after your dua changes, your anxiety decreases. You stop checking constantly. You stop waiting nervously. You stop feeling restless. Your heart begins to rest, not because the situation is solved, but because Allah has solved your heart. And this is a sign that the chapter is preparing to close. Because when something is meant to continue, Allah keeps your dua attached to it. But when something has served its purpose, Allah shifts your dua toward peace and guidance. This does not mean your love was wasted. This does not mean your effort was useless. It means Allah has taken you from asking for something to asking for Him. And that is a beautiful transformation. You begin to understand that Allah was never testing whether you would get what you wanted. He was testing whether you would trust Him when what you wanted changed. So if your dua sounds different now, if your words are softer, if your requests are less specific, if your heart feels calmer when you say, Ya Allah, whatever you choose, do not be afraid. This is not the end of hope. This is